Since I don't want to edit this video, we go on Raw, baby. We've been covering this blind side, Michael Oher and the Tuohy family situation over the past day, and it's been going crazy. First day, Michael Tuohy came out, said they owe me money, lied about conservatorship, all that good stuff. Then the son came out like, look, you're lying. I read the article, but I didn't watch the video. The video is a lot different than the article. So what we're going to do in this video is react to Sean Tuohy Jr., the son, going on Barstool Sports and completely answering all questions. It's lengthy, it's good. So I won't get a copyright strike. I won't show the direct video. I will have different stuff planned, but you guys can go watch it. You can see on Barstool Sports, and I will interject to flip the algorithm and give my opinion on it. Let me know what's y'all thoughts, because a lot of things have changed in my opinion on it. So start right about 106 where you get to hear what you actually want to hear.
Someone can have an actual conversation and talk to, and I could at least speak something if there was questions to be asked and refer back to that, not to deal with it, the next couple days.
So let's start with this then. Did this lawsuit surprise you, or you knew it was coming?
I knew it was coming. I mean, it was a matter of time. It's surprising because it's, Monday you wake up like a normal day, but this is not his first one. It's been a couple of years in the making. I'm surprised that it happened the way it did, but no one was.
So then one theory that we were talking about a little bit earlier, you just mentioned 2 years in the making, is that there's a book coming out, and then we thought that anytime there is timing, but you think that's just coincidental or not?
I mean, I don't know. Truthfully, I read the book. I was a purchaser of the book. I supported it. I think it was very positive, not towards us, but towards someone that is going through it in life. I would never shy away from saying, you should read that. There's good truth in there. I don't know, coincidence or not. I mean, it seems obviously tough.
So he said he was a publisher of the book. So you literally knew about this book. You read the book, because I'm working on a book right now. And like the 7 people I have involved, once my editor send it to me, I got to send it to them, and they get to approve all the stuff, right? So he literally approved what went in there. It makes you want to read the book. So I'm no rocket science, but I know timing, this is not a coincidence. His team, Mike Oher, like, look, let's drop this right here. Since they owe you money, let's monetize off that, because this actually make me want to read the book. If this doesn't come out, there's a 0% chance I read the book. Now we had a 15% chance. You better get Audible book, because it ain't Audible. I ain't reading too much unless I really like it.
Timing the same day the book comes out.
It's literally the same day. It's
What about, all right, so the number one things he's saying, the conservatorship versus the adoption. I know you talked a little bit about Kevin. Like, what is your take on that's the main claim, right? And pretty recent, as February 2023 is when Michael says he realized the difference and what it meant. Like, what did you?
But wait, even before you answer that, if you're saying this is like there's been multiple lawsuits regarding this conservatorship,
not against the family specifically, but to the movie companies and all that kind of stuff. I believe this is not the first.
Got it. Okay.
Go around.
So he had issues, was suing other entities.
So Michael have already been suing. So a lot of people, I was under the assumption that he just learned and just found out about this. But what my man is saying, he's been trying to find where is his money going for years. So this is not new. So that's where it makes sense kind of when he was talking about the text messages. Ooh, boy.
Then finds out that he wasn't technically adopted, but it's a conservatorship, and that's when he puts you guys in the crosshairs.
Again, I don't want to speak to things here. I'm gonna preface, in case someone says this freaking guy, I'm not gonna listen to him anymore. I'm gonna preface by saying that I loved Mike at 16. I love Mike at now he's 16 and a half years old, 37. and I love him at 67. So there's not going to be any legal dossier or thing that happens that's going to maybe go like screw that guy. It's not the case. I'll be mad at him. But to your initial point, no. I mean, if he says he learned that in February, I find that hard to believe. I went back to my text today to look at. I was curious today randomly to go back to look at our family group texts and text to see what things had been said, and there were things back in 2020, 2021 that were like, if you guys give me this much, then I won't go public with things. And so I don't know that's true. I think everyone learned.
So he said he went back and looked at some text messages back in 2001, 2002, whatever it is, or whatever time frame he said. I think 2020, 2021. So he went back in those text messages and he said, if you guys give me some money, I won't go public. So 3 years ago, he already gave them game like, yo, now I'm leaning on Michael's side where he like, yo, where the money at? This brother, his story ain't storying how it need to. How that article read. That's why you got to watch stuff and you got to actually read it also. But listening to a live interview, because I thought it was just on a radio where we can see all of this. This is good.
Learned in the past year about the conservatorship stuff because of Britney Spears, so maybe that's the case. But I don't. I mean, it doesn't.
So when did, if you're saying there's 2020, 2021 old text potentially where he's like, I won't go public, he wants this, that. When did the relationship, sounds like it deteriorated clearly. Is it around the movie? Like, is there a moment? Like, when did the relationship, and you made very clear, like, you can be mad and still love a guy, but like, when did the relationship between your family and Michael start to deteriorate?
No, I again, today looking back at texts, when I was leaving Liberty to come to UCF, to where I work in college football, I was kind of torn. I had a good situation in Lynchburg, and I worked for a guy that Mike and I both knew, and if you read Mike's new book, he obviously hypes up Coach Freeze a lot. And I remember texting him and I asked for like advice, and there was like profound, good brotherly advice in the text that he sent on that day. And then like the next text is like something kind of completely different. So it wasn't, I don't think, one moment, and I'm hopeful that it won't be that forever as it is. But yeah, I think when he stopped playing and everything kind of settled down, and I don't know the exact time. That'd be a question for him. There obviously is a time, because you can go back and look at social media posts from 2015, 16, 17, everything's fine and dandy, and I think it built up over time for him. And it's hard when you talk about people's money. The Blind Side made a lot of money. I wish the first lawsuit that he's pissed about that he didn't get it. I'm like, man, I hope you win every dollar that you get. That's great crap, because then I can do the same thing. Obviously, he's the star of it. There is no story without him. He is the star of everything he's done in his life. But I'm like, man, the same thing these writers and actors are pissed about now. It's not crazy different. He wants more royalties and wants the same. I mean, the Hollywood is going to screw people out of their deal. So I was like all for it initially, and still am, man. I hope he gets everything that's entitled to him legally. But I don't think it's going to come in the form of the ESPN story today.
I think a lot of the a lot of mentioning of the movie and how much money it makes also kind of implies that you guys as a family were benefiting and he was not. Was everybody but him getting paid off of that, or how'd the money shake out?
No, and I don't want to take too much thunder, and I don't know if I can legally say this, but I know there's an article being written in the Atlantic with a couple guys that were really, really understand the finances of that situation really well, and that will be something to look for. But no, I've never once talked about truthfully how much money I have made off the movie. But candidly, I don't care that much. It's going to be public record that article anyway. But for years, I remember when I got the first check from the University of Arkansas. We were in Memphis, and we were trying not to give me illegal recruiting implications. I was around my house at the time, and I met my dad for lunch, and he gave me the check, and I'm like, "We get paid off this thing?" He's like, "Yeah, it's made so much money now that like they can't hide it." I think there was like a 2.5% kicker down the line. Again, it'll be public, so someone that really cares to go back and read through it can do so. And I bet through that we as in me personally only, because I can speak for that, I made like 60, 70 grand over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. It comes in like the first year was like a $14,000 check, and then it was like an 8 and 7 and whatever, so on, so forth down. math didn't add up. But it started off a little higher and then it went down.
This is where everything switches over towards Michael's side. He just tried the little bro and down it and said he made $60,000 to $70,000 only over the last 4 or 5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the movie came out in 2009. If you're making $60,000 to $70,000 in the last 4 to 5, so you make about $20,000 a year, $15,000 a year that you're telling us in the last 4 and 5 years, and the movie been out 2009, 10 years. It's 2019. The movie been out 15 years. And then he said when it first came out, it was higher. Yes. When I did the calculations on the other video, I said 2.5%. See, that's what y'all get me for. Last time I didn't even do the math. We're about to do this live. I'm going to see if I can find it. So what we're going to do is type in The Blind Side movie budget. That's what we're going to do. Budget, because we know it made $300 million, right? The budget was $29 million. So we're going to round it up to 30. And how much did we say it made, right? How much money did The Blind Side make? 309, but we're going to round it down to 309. To 300. So the movie profited, and we going to add in another $20 million for paying the actors. We're going to say $250 million, what I said off the top of my head without even looking at the numbers last video. We're going to say the movie profit and take home dollars, $250 million. If you take 2.5% of that, that is $6-point-something million. I'm a numbers person. Each of y'all, according to that, got over $6 million. You talking about 70. That's how I know your family got a lot of money. That's little baby money. I only made so and so. If somebody made 0 and you making $6 million, it's like, I only made $6 million. Like, bro, how much did Michael make his whole NFL career? Like, probably $6 million. Interesting.
Which after it made hundreds of millions of dollars, I think that someone said, okay, we can't hide this any longer. The money he's suing for is actually the same thing. It'll be very well documented. It was, I was reading through this morning, but it's a couple $100,000 that the movie actually gave us. I don't remember the timeline because I was young and I wasn't involved, but it was like you can get it's $200,000 to a charity of your choice.
You have to donate the money?
Yeah, so not personally from the money. Like when the movie came out, we got paid off the naming rights. I got like $12,000, and then off those same naming rights, 10 years later, me personally got $14,000, whatever it was, and so on and so forth down. But like maybe 4 or 5 years after the movie came out, and it was clear it was making a lot of money. You'll see this in the article, but I want to say out.
Bro, your dad, literally, your family set the bank up. They set it up. You gotta think how calculated this is. We're just not like, this is crazy. Just not for the Tuohy mom and dad to make money. They made sure their kids made money. Hey, my kids in it, they want a percentage. I want a percentage. My wife want a percentage. How the hell the black athlete that's the star of the story didn't get paid any money? That's wild. No matter however you cut it, however you look at it, that is wild and don't make any sense, yo. It really don't to me.
Alcon, I guess someone's like, hey, this is doing great. It's a great story. We're going to donate $400,000 to charities of your choice. I'm sure they had to write something off. And they did 200 to my family's foundation, the Making It Happen Foundation, and then Mike's was going to be 200 separately. And it's super well documented that he was middle plan too, so I get he had a lot going on at the time. That probably wasn't a ton of money to him, but he was like, I don't want to be involved with that. I don't want the money from it, and declined the exact money that I think is mentioned. And again, I don't go too much into the.
That sound real confusing. You ain't calling give me money, but people gonna donate some money to charity. That's confusing. And he probably was an athlete training, and let's see how much money he made.
Legal piece, but I know that was in the ESPN article of a couple $100,000. That's what that's referring to, and that's documented. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I was obviously a lot younger than I am now when some of that stuff was going on, but it's hard, man. Like when that stuff came out, the time to monetize that would have been like right after the movie. He's playing the NFL. I was, in college, and obviously his monetization would have been 50 million times more than me. But like if NIL was a thing back then, I'd have been crushing it with stupid ass T-shirts and
right,
you name it. But
so then
this is interesting. I didn't know Buddy made that much money. So the question is, do he need the money? It could be about principle. If Buddy signed a $13 million team deal in 2014, 2009, in 2014, he signed another $20 million. So he made well over $30 million when he was in the NFL. That's some big money. 34 mil to be exact. Whoo, and he don't look like a guy that's just balling and buying cars and stuff, but what do I know?
I guess it would be more what he's upset about. If he's upset, which he clearly is, would be more of a principle thing, because it's not a big money. Being like the family doesn't seem large checks, but they got some checks. Or he could just be mad that, like what you said on the Hollywood, and Kevin, you were saying it, the movie made $300 million or whatever. Somebody clearly is making a ton of money off that movie, and he's not seeing any of it. And I could see, listen, if someone made a movie that I thought was about me, and I see it sold 300 million box office and I don't see anything, I could see how that would upset me. And then it's, where does the anger go, I guess, right?
Yeah, I
shout out to Buddy breaking it down very simple. He like, look, I'm kind of on his side. If it's a movie about me and everybody made money, I'm looking, where's the money? That's simple. Where's the money? And I know you guys made money. Y'all made money. So if I know you made money off a movie about me, I want my damn money. Kind of simple.
The main reason I wanted to initially come on this, and I'm mostly joking, but like my friends were roasting me in the group chat, like, because this article says I got $2 million out of this thing, and I'm like, man, if I had $2 million in bank account, it would be in my email signature. It would say signed S.J. Tuohy, multimillionaire. And my friends who, like, I went to a bunch of weddings this summer, are like ripping my ass, like, man, you got me a shower head and you're worth $2 million. And the other buddies are hitting me back like, man, like, trust me, if you had $2 million, I would know would be the W Miami, not the W Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
So that's a nice property. Sorry if you didn't work there.
Wait one damn second. So Sean Tuohy Sr., the dad, he said back in the day he sold. Let's look at it. Because, while we watching this, I'm just clicking stuff, right? Well, I said, this is why I Googled, what franchise the Sean Tuohy owns? Sean and Leah and Tuohy were successful franchisees, owning 115. Not one. Our broke ass is just trying to own one. Owning 115 Taco Bell, KFCs, like Freddy frozen custards and all that stuff. And he sold them, and I don't even know if he sold them all, for $200 million. Probably had partners and stuff. So let's just say he took home $100 million. And it's probably 20 years ago. So right now, let's just say he's worth $300 million. So you telling me this rich, wealthy white man that named his son himself after his name, he didn't even give him his own identity. I'm naming you after me. You got $2 million. You don't own. You don't have. You're not a millionaire. You got as much money as me. The guy on YouTube talking about you. You got as much money as me. Why are you getting annual paychecks from Blindside every year? Because every time somebody watching you getting paid. Okay. All right. Okay. Just want to get that correct. Make sure we're all on the same page.
So I don't, I don't know. I get it why he's mad. I completely understand. And it stinks that it'll play out on a very public stage. But I think there were 16 years of, or how long it's been, but of people that took positive things from the movie. There'll be some now 16 years of things that people think negative of it. That part sucks, but like, oh well,
Did you guys see the picture, by the way? SJ sent it to me, the picture that our Instagram account put up.
Yeah. The picture of the kid who played you, and it said like, this little fucker took all the money.
Trust me, if I could have figured out a way to scheme that deal up, I absolutely would have done that. I like people like seeing the article. Like, did you see this? Like, yeah, I saw it. I totally get that, and if there's no, we didn't choose to be in this, like, but I digress. I told Kevin this on the phone when I called him 30 minutes before we wanted to do this thing, but like, my big running joke for years was that people who thought like, oh, you guys like playing this whole thing out, and you wanted to be in the NFL and you wanted to monetize it and this and that. I mean, that's such a compliment to intelligence level of my family. Like, to be able to pull that off and execute it, we are so much smarter than everyone else if that was the case. Like, I do this for a living, somewhat trying to like evaluate the value of high school athletes. I've missed on more 4- and 5-star kids when I was at the University of Arkansas, trying to look at what people would be, and at UCF, like, that's a crazy compliment. I'd be working for Nick Saban if that was the case. But I get it, man. I understand the anger, and like I said initially, like, I hope that it'll play out. There's nothing to hide, which makes it easier. But it's going to stink publicly, and a lot of people are going to have opinions on it. And
and I'll say that, and again, I said this to Kevin, this is one, especially now, the culture we live in, and you alluded to it in the very beginning of this. You have a Southern conservative family, African-American athlete. The story that ESPN put out there is that the white Southern family took advantage of the black athlete. People will stop there. A lot of people, to be honest, and won't go into the details.
I'm people. I'm a black man. I see rich white people get rich because of black guy. Yeah, I read the headlines. I'm people. I'm sorry, I'm black, and it's like, hey, white people and black people dynamic ain't always been the greatest. So if I see these white people that took my money from me, hey, I might get triggered. I'm people, so he's right. But at least I'm somebody that would do the research and tell both sides. You see, the first video I did is these white people ain't right. Second video I did, I think Michael might be lying. He ain't right. Third video, let's see what the family got to say. So your boy, I ain't biased. Low black bias, but not too much though.
Of what actually happened and try to get the facts, and they'll make their assessment based on their preconceived notions of what's going on in this country. That'll happen with a lot of people. Anyone who says that's not going to happen.
The blind side has ruined my political. Like, I truthfully, and my dad will deduct, from the will percent. I'm not as Republican as my parents. They always give me a hard time for leaning a little left. And like, good luck if you tell anyone now that I were to lean that way, they'd be like, yeah, right. I'm sure you are, you rich white Republican. I'm like, man, like, people speak for you before you can say anything, and that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. And but yeah, to your point, the current climate of that makes it impossible.
So, like, the only thing you can do is encourage, like what you're saying. It's going to be public record before people make their decisions on this case on the ESPN. Read it, make up your own mind. That's all you can do in stuff like this. And I will say, Kevin and I were talking. We didn't think in a million years you would actually come on, because there's a court case, and generally, my experience in doing this in 20 years,
I have to give him his full amount of credit. Him coming on and doing this is dumb as hell. Number one. I wouldn't advise him bring his ass on here and doing all this talking. Number two, I respect him more for coming out like, look, let me just tell y'all what it is. This is crazy. For him to come out and it's really him face and tell that he's trying to be careful with his words, but he's like, look, 90% of what I'm saying is already documented. Like, I'm not hiding anything. So at least he's very transparent about it. So I do respect that. What y'all think?
Could be wrong. People who can't speak freely will not go on to something like this where you don't know where the conversation's going. Mm-hmm. Anything you say is on the record.
Yeah.
To me, that generally speaks volumes to somebody coming up, and this is clearly not a plan. You're pretty open answering everything we're asking.
Well,
again,
like I said,
yourself.
My legal guy wasn't thrilled about it, but I wanted to have one thing that I could say. No, I already said that, and two, like it's I don't have anything to hide from it. I wasn't named in the lawsuit, which isn't in the lawsuit. It's a probate. We're not worth going to, but it's just ironic. I mean, you read the SBN article, which. It's been sent to me. Everyone that's deeming it to me. Thank you guys. I've seen it, so you can cut it. But like the end of it is like the Tuohy family couldn't be like reached for a comment on this. Like I'm so easy to find on social media. I run a company that my contact information is very public. They didn't even DM me or message me. Like
I mean,
so it looks like he have a NIL deal company. Y'all see how I'm looking at here. So it's like, okay, we gonna raise the big money. You can be a member to donate towards these kids. Total lowest $12 a month. I mean, $12 a year, which is very, very low. Up to $12,000 a year for benefits of Kingdom ambassador level sign, memorabilia, special events. So interesting.
All the time. The article's written. There's nothing, even if you did articles like that are written, then they're done, and then you go to the subject just to try to maybe add credibility. Like, well, he couldn't defend it. So, again,
I don't know that I would have talked to him, but just when I saw this,
I probably need to get a shirt just because it's Orlando.
Be more in your face. Like, please email me if you want to donate to UCF. So I get that guy was just regurgitating a lot of the probate, and it's not, he wants views and stuff, and he's got a job. So I get that, but it wasn't like new information. He just taking information and trying to repackage it.
So one last thing, I feel like just kind of at the heart of this is just the relationship between him and your family. Once he went pro, or like at what point was it, not did it go south, but did you guys just kind of like go on your separate lives? Like he's an adult now. He has a family, whatever he does. Or like, were you still getting together for holidays? Were you all that? Or was it just like, thank you for what you did. We'll talk to you at Christmas, but see you later.
Yeah, that's a good question. Again, there wasn't one moment. I mean, I can go through like timelines of things. And I will never, you will never hear me say anything bad about Michael Oher in any capacity, other than I'm upset that he feels the way that he does. And I think some of the things that were mentioned in the probate or book, whatever, I don't necessarily agree with, and I don't remember it happening like that.
What's like the number one thing that you feel like is being mischaracterized?
I don't know, because my number one thing is like more personal than number one things. Like people are talking about money this and money that, and I'm like, you lived there for 3 months, man. I got 2 Christmas card pictures with you, and I know that it was longer than 3 months. Like, it's a crazy thing to put in an article. I got 2 pictures to prove it right here. But that's okay. Like if that's how he remembers that time, man, it's not. None of that truly matters. Mike is crazy successful in life. He played 9 years in the NFL, I think 8 years, something like that, which is way longer than people play. He's got 4 awesome kids. He's married. He's got a great house in Nashville. He's got a great life. So like that's the point of the whole thing. Is it like good for him, right? That's a win. We're doing our own thing. Collins and I have different endeavors that we do. My parents are mid-60s and retired. Like you hate to say the story's over because I'm not going to make light of the stuff that's happening in the media going around. Like it is, whatever. But you're not going to hear me talk bad about him because I truthfully think very highly of everything.
We getting somewhere. Wow, I'm just nosing around. So the mama has written a book. And look who's on the cover of the book. Wait, hold on. Let me get it correct. Hold on. Say, turn around, reach out, and give back. Okay, all right, I apologize. Because I typed this, and I seen big black man. The blind side evolution of the game. Like, who the hell wrote that? Like, so, okay. Let me just keep on doing my research, because, yeah.
To your initial question of things that are mischaracterized, it just depends. Like, I think that that wasn't this question. I rambled so far. I forgot this, but the mischaracterization piece is that I think some of the timelines are a bummer. But like, who cares? It's 20 years ago, and that's how he chose.
Well, yeah, no. My initial question was like, when did it like?
Oh, sure.
Did you when you went your separate ways? Was it because of a fallout, or was it just like I grew up and I became a man? I'm not your kid anymore. When did it kind of stop being like I live here and you're my my parents and my siblings?
Yeah. Sorry. Long day.
This is hilarious. Somebody just did what I just did and looked up this. So they bought the book, and you can tell he's black. He's got it. Is this a black name, Marcus Pope? Seem like it's a black name. I don't know any white Marcuses. My first cousin's name is Marcus, so I don't know no white Marcuses. So it looked like the black guy bought her book just to give her a bad review. Say makes no sense. Oh Lord.
I don't remember the timeline. There were so many times, which my initial ramble was to say when I talked bad about him. Mike bought me my first car. Like, I remember he came into when I was a 16-year-old kid and was like, "Is this the car that's in the background of your computer?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's a Dodge Challenger." He's like, "You don't like it in other colors other than black?" I'm like, "No, whatever." And there's a red Challenger outside. Like, I had my first kiss in that car. Okay, so like that is there's 100 things like that in my life that would have never happened. Great memories. I mean, I went to college in Baltimore because he was there. He played for the Ravens. I could have gone to a lot of places to play basketball. I was not very good, but I had some smaller Division I, Division II offers, and I wanted to go there because it was a cool school. Loyola was a great spot, but he was 20 minutes away, which is awesome. That was the coolest thing of all time. Like, in that scheme of life, they won the Super Bowl, and like he would be on road trips and leave his garage unlocked with Ashton Martin in it, which wasn't very smart. Sorry, Mike, if you see that. And tons of stuff like that I would never take back. So the relationship, I was the Super Bowl he wanted. I was at the Super Bowl he lost it. That was 20.
Hold on. Why when you go to their foundation, the first thing you see is a black kid making it happen? The Tuohy Family Foundation serving underprivileged youth since 2009. All black people is underprivileged youth. Our mission to share our commitment, faith, family, open doors, how we help, how you can help, give us your money. And look who they got on there. Their family member. This website is dumb because it keep on sliding up. Like, I'm not touching, like, stop doing that. It's terrible. Our family has quite a journey for the past 10 years. We have lived, witnessed, and learned to impact life on a person. So they started a foundation based around him. Interesting.
I was a senior in class 16, 17. I told you, he gave me great advice in 2021 when I was trying to come here. It's kind of been perpetual, and I think to some extent families do that as you get to be older and do your own things. I hope that's more the case, but there wasn't one moment that I point to like, man, that moment is when it all went south. I think when my dad sold his company, that's when like money started being more relevant because someone put a big article out, about that, and it was unrelated, but maybe that was it. I wish I knew that moment, because then I could go back to it and go, whoa, like let's figure this thing out. I truthfully don't know that moment. And it may not exist. So
when's the last time you talked to him?
Within the year in text. I mean, I would go. He lives in Nashville, or outside Nashville, and I would go once or twice a year. I mean, his son MJ. I would try to check in yearly, but it's been we did Christmas. I don't know, I think I sent so that picture 2019, 2018 we did Christmas, and then I saw him in 2021 when I was first got to Liberty, and then we talk in texts throughout the year, but I'm not in the last couple months, which makes sense now.
This is one of my last questions. And by the way, listening to the way you talk, there also is always an element of there can be sort of two truths. Like he down the road may have interpreted things differently or thinks he got taken advantage of, where your fans like, whoa, that's not how it went at all. And you're around people both sides. But my question, and you may not have this answer, but I got to ask it because from the ESPN article, one of the major early things is somehow it seems like they are asserting your family tricked them into doing a conservatorship as opposed to like an adoption, something that I'm totally not familiar. Do you know why that it was put at, like, the argument being that he lost power of attorney essentially by going conservative I can't say the word conservatorship.
It's impossible. I practiced before I came on here to get it right. So I haven't said it for that reason.
So what do you know the reason the family chose that as opposed to straight adoption?
It would have been smart for me to probably have looked through that stuff before hopping on a live radio broadcast. I don't know. Like, I think that, I don't want to refute things that he said about timelines, but my guess is that it started before he was 18 and then the process finished after he was 18, and that was maybe a more clean legal way to do it. There's nothing like tying, again, I don't know Brittany's conservatorship. I messed it up too. Situation, but there's no like money being held anywhere that's like that. There's no thing, nothing's being conserved. Like this morning when I called my dad, I'm like, I was the dumbass who sent the ESPN article. Like everyone sent it to me, and he's like, "Yeah, thanks, I saw that." I'm like, yeah, okay. So, but I said, like, is there anything that he's like, no, he can be out of it. I don't know. Like, we'll let him know right now. Like, there's no if that was the reason for the suit, it would be over in 5 minutes. I mean, there's punitive damages mentioned and stuff like that goes way deeper. But that piece of it, I don't think is going to be any kind of holdup of like us holding that over. Or there's no power of attorney that's still being held. And thankfully, again, because I was accusatory of my parents to some extent. Like, I want to make sure I'm not defending the wrong side of this thing, right? Like, I'm 30. I'm like, walk me through this thing. Like, give me everything that you think. Why is this happening? Which is sad. I mean, it's a sad combo to have, but the everything thankfully is very well documented. So the legal piece of it will play itself out, and I think that they'll hopefully not be defamation. But like all the defamation and stuff, like, should we turn and do this? Like, for what benefit? Like, so to prove that you were right and spend a bunch of money on it and take your other son's money. Like, there's no, and I think that's going to play out probably, I'm sure, in the legal process. I don't know. Again, I don't want to speak too much legal piece because my God begged me not to, but I don't know, but thankfully everything was documented in terms of every dollar that was received from the movie, that if he declined it, if he deferred it, where it went into certain things, every dollar that could have been given that was declined. It's all very, very documented, which is great, and hopefully that provides peace of mind. And that was one of the texts that he initially sent to us. I don't want to put the family group text out, but like, it's like, when this all clears up, hopefully we can go back to being like that. I hope.
All right. So we watched enough of this. I want to know what y'all thoughts, because I'm one person. And in my mind, I believe that Michael Oher is entitled to some money. If you guys made money, he should have made money. And he said that Michael Oher made money off the book because the author shared that. So it's going to be interesting when his attorney come out with all of the information on exactly how much money was made. Because it's crazy how he belittled 60, 70,000 over the last few years. It was higher. How much higher? When the movie first came out, yeah, but it had to be a lot higher. If you're making 10 years later, that amount of damn near 6 figures, just making a lot of money. And he didn't get any, so he seems 70% transparent and genuine about the situation, and 30%, I don't know. What's your thoughts? in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.